After Eternal, we have the chance to receive Luka Peroš, another personage, another character of La Casa de Papel, or Money Heist in English. Firstly, how are you, Lucas? And thanks to be there with us today.
Well, thank you for having me. Hello to everybody in Canada. I'm fine. I'm a little bit bored already. It's getting it's getting boring. You know what? For 2 months being inside the house with a little bit of leverage now recently to go out with kids a little bit, an hour or so a day, it's okay. But you know, I want to go back to work. I want to go play.
We can start with your career because we know that you have a long career. You don't just make La Casa de Papel or Money Heist in English. So you have played several characters during your cinema career. Which one is the impressed you most and why during all this year?
Well, I mean, it's weird. This job of ours of professional actors is it's weird because in each project you get involved completely. You should, I mean, and each character, each role and project carries its own weight. I cannot distinguish one being more important than the other. Each of my projects, there were rough times and hard situations and hard scenes, and also fun ones. So I think the most impact one did have on me is the role of Karl Schulz, a Nazi soldier in a concentration camp. This was the movie The Photographer of Mauthausen, which was based on a real story of a Catalan photographer who was in Linz, outside of Linz was the concentration camp, Mauthausen. And that role, after 2 months of shooting, left me really dirty because it's just the topic is horrendous, and the acts of violence and all of that history and that of that time, it's just horrendous. And I felt dirty after that.
Yeah, I know, I understand. You, like many actors, you have also theater experience. What's the biggest difference between cinema and theater, and which one of these art do you prefer?
I prefer theater without a doubt. In theater, you are in control of what is happening in the moment, then and there. It's live. If there's a mock-up, if there's a mistake, fine, you have to work around that. But that's the meaning of it being live. You don't want to make mistakes, but also, you know, the audience. Not many people know the text, the whole play. You know, nobody in the fifth row is going to, you missed a line there. You know, that's not going to happen. But it's the excitement of listening to the audience in silences and in dramatic plays. That's when they feel you, when they're with you, that is impressive. That's an amazing experience and emotion and sentiment. But also when there's something fun. I worked many years at the Zagreb Puppet Theater for 9 years, and kids are the most difficult audience there is. You either have them or you don't. Because if you're not interesting, you know, after 1.5 minutes, they're already looking around, picking their nose, scratching their bums, and getting out of there. So if you don't have them, it's you know, you're not doing your job well. But when you do get them, they're eating out of your hand, and it's just so rewarding and so impressive. I prefer theater. And quickly, film and television, it's a different challenge because you have to be 100% dedicated and ready to work, because the people out there don't know how long you have to wait for everything to be set up, and then suddenly act. So you have to do your part 100% precise, controlled, and disciplined, because otherwise it's an expensive sport. Otherwise everybody's suffering, and that balance is very difficult to achieve.
Yeah, that's very different, theater, and I think theater is it's the instant moment. It's already you live live. It's always live. You can't miss your chance. So yeah, that's a little bit of a little bit different, but these two arts looking pretty incredible.
In theater you can feel what you're doing. On TV and cinema, you can act, you can see maybe your colleagues or the director or the crew having some reaction, but that is in that moment and it's gone, and you have no control of how they're going to edit it, if that scene is going to be there, if it's this shot from here or it's from here. You have no control over that. So you do your part, and then there's so many people afterwards who work on that to make your performance better and the whole project better. In theater, it's you right there, and what you do, you can feel right away from the audience. That is very gratifying.
You have an enormous baggage of by having a role in several productions which do not come from your native country, the Croatia. Is there a certain form of adaptation between, for example, playing in a French production instead of a Spanish production?
Primarily to say no. I mean, of course, the language is always the difference, but it's the circus around the world is very similar. I worked from Serbia to Montenegro to Croatia to Germany and around Spain in either local productions or international co-productions. And it boils down to a group of very crazy people, very masochistic people, going for long hours for a long period of time, 3 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, doing a project, and everybody's there. Those working days are usually 14, 15 hours from the moment you get picked up and returned home. So we're all in it together. So the difference doesn't matter. There is one difference in these productions, and that's catering, the food. It depends. It depends in each country. In France and in Spain, it's regular to at lunch to have maybe also a glass of wine because that's their habit. In the Balkan area, you don't want that because if they start, then they're not going to stop until you. So better avoid that. Yeah, the only difference is the food. Yeah.
You're a big specialist of language, by able to talk, I think, 6 languages.
6, 7, 8.
Spanish, English, Portuguese, French, Italian, German.
Yeah, German, Croatian, Serbian, and a little bit of Catalan. I've mastered English, German, and Spanish, Croatian, and Serbian. I speak fluently without a mistake. Now, because of the Spanish, I've never learned Spanish, by the way. I've never had a class of Spanish. I had Latin, ancient Latin, and ancient Greek as my courses in middle school in Croatia in the late 80s. And so that was a good basis for all the Roman languages. So I learned Spanish on the street or through working, in projects here. And that kind of suppressed my Italian and my French. I understand both languages perfectly. I cannot remember some of the most normal words. I just say it in Spanish. So, and the same is with Portuguese. So, and Catalan, of course. So I can get along. If you give me the text, I'll learn everything. I've done the voiceover for Marseille in 5 other languages. And I had for Italian, Brazilian, Portuguese, and French, I had some friends help me out with diction. And then I worked on it at home before I went into the studio to do the actual dubbing of Marseille.
So you're now in Spain, as we talked before the interview, and you say me that you never learned a Spanish class. So that's pretty interesting. What's the secret?
I'm lying. My wife, as a Christmas gift, maybe 8 years ago, bought me like 5 courses in some language school. I went 3 times in the morning. It was the week between Christmas and New Year's Eve. The professor came every morning pretty hungover. He would play a movie. He wouldn't teach us anything. So I didn't really learn anything like that. I don't know. I have I guess a good ear for languages. I moved around it a lot in my life. I lived in many different continents and countries and passed through 3, 4 different types of school systems. I started to read and write in German in Vienna. Then I went back to Croatia. Then I went to Abu Dhabi, where I went to an American high school. So it was a mishmash, and adapting and listening. To learn languages, you have to use them. If you go and travel somewhere, if you hang out with the people from your country and you speak your own language, then you're not going to learn anything. And I've never hung out with Croatian, Serbians, or somebody from that region. While I was in the other countries, I always hung out with the locals to learn to learn something. And maybe the biggest mistake here in Barcelona was I have a lot of Argentine, Peruvian, Chilean, and Colombian friends. So they have a different accent, a different manner of
Yeah.
speaking. So I have this cocktail of my Spanish. It's a very weird way. But you have to practice. Makes perfect.
COVID-19 that hitting the wall has also repercussion on the television world. What do you think will be the biggest adaptation that will follow this pandemic?
I don't know. Insurance companies being bold enough to give support to the production companies, because if a production company is not insured, they cannot shoot. It's too dangerous.
Okay.
It's too much money involved, and then it's a catch-22. I don't know. It is too soon to say anything clear. Our job is very specific in the proximity of people working together. You're crammed up with the camera guy right here, and then somebody with the microphone there, and we're very
Yeah.
you're very connected one with the other all the time, and it's in a small space. I don't know how you can regulate that, except multiple testing on not a daily basis, but on several 4, 5, 6 days testing everybody in the crew. There's many options. Everybody's trying to figure out what the right way is to do, but as it is obvious in the whole world, they have no freaking clue what we should and how we can go about it. I think it's going to last a time until we get to some normality, although that normality is not going to be a normality. And until there's a vaccine, it's going to be a really rough patch for everybody around the whole world.
Yeah, for sure. If you had an advice to give to someone who want to go to get into the cinema world, what would that be?
Study a lot, and try to go to good schools and find good professors. I had the luck of really attending a great college in Boston, Massachusetts, in the United States, where I was theatrically trained. I had one course, one semester acting in front of camera. Everything else was theater. Getting experience, finding friends, familiars, neighbors to play around with you. Look what you like, explore that. Learn languages, learn about old cinema. We're stupefied, not stupefied. We're turned into mush with social media and small content bullshit, let's say. So, and the music industry is also like that. People don't go to the theater anymore. You have to educate yourself to know. The more you know, the better planted you can be in this profession, to react, to have a foundation of how to go about in your life as a professional. It's very important to know as much about everything. That's what an actor needs to for sure do.
Let's talk about Money Heist, or La Casa de Papel, her in Canada. Your character, Marseille, appearing during the 3rd season. How was your adaptation in the group?
Well, all my colleagues are professionals. In the banda itself, there were 3 new characters: Bogota, Palermo, and Marseille, myself. And Jovic, Rodrigo, and myself, the 3 new actors, we were received in an amazing way, very amicable, very professional by our colleagues, and it was easy to join the play, to join the game with them. It was a little bit scary too, of course, because already at that point when we were starting the 3rd season, the Casa de Papel was a world hit. So we knew that we were getting into the lion's den. So we had to all perform to our maximum, and I think all 3 of us did a good job, and we clicked. We all clicked very quickly. We were, like I said, we were received very nicely by the first gang, and we just continued playing. And it was like last year, nine months of shooting. So it was a long period of time to shoot 16 episodes. So.
Like you said, when you come to La Casa de Papel, it was already an international series. How did you react when the production offered you this role in this series?
I was kind of confused because I actually went for an audition for Bogota, and I waited 1 month for the response from the casting. And I was about to enter into Serbia to go shoot a series there. And my phone rang and my agent was there. And she just said, "Oh, you didn't get the role of Bogota." And I was like, oh no, head down. But there's another role. I was like, okay, that's interesting. Marseille, he's the right hand of the professor. I was like, okay, I mean, I don't know. As long as he has something to do, maybe 2-3 episodes, I would be happy. And from then on, until today, I didn't get much more information about Marseille except for the script. So in that regard, it's really one of the hardest roles I've played, because especially in theater, you know the beginning and the end, and you can work on your character, your character's arch, you know. And here you have no frigging clue what's going to happen, because we get the screenplays bit by bit. And it was very hard the first 4 months for the third season, because I didn't have much. But then in the fourth, I had much more space to play, and they gave me more scenes, and I think we used them well. The whole crew, myself included, I think we've done a good job.
Yeah, for sure. And in my think, I think Marseille is one of the most interesting character, because it's a funny guy, it's a serious guy, it's like a mix of everything, a mix of every character in the series, all in one. And he don't talk a lot, but when he talk, it's always a good stuff.
Yeah, it's very hard to play like the mudo, the mute one, you know. Il mute. I don't know. It like I said, it was hard to get into him. I found like a 0.0 of Marseille, and then as the scenes would go on, I would just adapt. I've seen that a lot of people are reacting very positively to him, which is for me an honor, and gives me lots of joy to receive love and appreciation around the world. Honestly, from around the world, and I don't know. It wasn't intended. He wasn't intended to be a comic character. I think I put in a little bit of that Balkanian humor. Serbian, Bosnian, Croatian humor is very dry and sarcastic, you know, and not off-putting, but it's very peculiar. And I did use a little bit of old school Yugoslavian comedy elements in there, maybe unconsciously, for some moments. When I see the product now, it's like, oh, that actually looks like something. So yeah, that was interesting. And yes, it's interesting that people really consider him like also a funny character, like a comic relief, which is, you know, a hitman, a mute animal lover hitman that is also kind of goofy. That is a weird combination. But also, listen, all the characters in Casa de Papel are very well developed. Each one has amazing reference points, and the audience can always connect themselves to one of them. You know, people are very Nairobi, or they're very Rio, or they're very Denver, or Helsinki, or Alicia Sierra, the Inspectora, or the Raquel. Everybody chooses what they like better, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Are there elements in the personality of your character Marseille that will come join to you in the real life?
Something similar between Marseille and me.
Yeah.
Like the animal loving, I love animals. I get along very well with children, old people, and animals. Like the adults, I am so. So maybe that part. I'm not that quiet. I am shy when I get into a new environment, but when I do start talking, I don't stop. I don't know, not much. I don't like guns, and Marseille is a hitman and ex-soldier, so that's definitely not what we have in common. So I'm very anti-guns. I mean, really pacifistic. I think that's the most ridiculous thing that somebody wants to have in a house. But in Northern America, that's a completely different topic, no?
Yeah, very.
Unfortunately, yeah. I'm very sad to hear what happened in Canada 2 weeks ago. It's insane. Anyways, my condolences to everybody involved. We don't have that much in common, except, I don't know. I also don't like right now I have to, you know, have this facial hair and long hair waiting to start the 5th season, but I don't know. I'm not a mustache guy, but supposedly it's working very well.
We all know this the success on the screen of the series, But do you have a filming anecdote that come in your mind about for the fanatic of this series?
Well, in the last interviews, I talked a lot about that scene. Everybody asked me, like, what was the most difficult one to shoot? So yeah, definitely the night shooting the saving Antonianzas from the swimming pool. That one was a bitch because it was just entering and leaving a swimming pool from 10 in the evening until 5 in the morning, over and over again, drying, coming back in. And it was really cold. It was like middle of June, but it was really cold because Madrid is like a desert almost in the summer. Mm-hmm. So super warm days and very cold nights. We're freezing our nuts off. That one was funny, but like to some people I shared that in the third season when I had the ferret, Sofia, the little urona that they use in that plan, she pissed on me and she bit me like 4 times. So that's a funny anecdote for sure. I don't know. There's so many. Like I said, it's a circus. So almost every day something silly happens or something weird, and I don't know. There's so many moments, guys. But a little rat pissing on me was also like, and immediately everybody from work go, "Come on, Will, change your shirt." It's like, no, it's just nothing. It's like as if I have a drinking problem and I drink a little bit and it's still like here on my shirt. That's it. You know, it's gonna dry, and it did dry. It did dry right away. So, yeah.
So thank you so much for being with us today.
No
it's a real
problem.
Pleasure to talk with you.
I want to give my regards to everybody in Canada. Be safe. It's some rough months ahead and insecurity later on, but that's what we need to do and be unified in supporting our medical staff. And thank you for watching the show, everybody in Canada. I want to say hi to my really good friend Tamara, who's DP, Director of Photography and Camera Operator in Vancouver. So Tamara Bok, she is going to listen. And nothing, I wish I can come visit one day. I live so close to Montreal, I never went. So, je m'excuse. La prochaine fois. Hein?